301 of Inside the GEFA, your only source for the best pro football or the best arena football like league in the state of Pennsylvania. I am your moderator, Daniel Morales. I'll be answering all of your questions on either YouTube or Facebook on all of our live feeds. So should be fun. But here's your host to take us through the games that are, the games that were, and the games that will be. Is also a playoff preview. Is the commissioner of the GFA, your friend of mine, Mr. James Simonson. Take it away, El Presidente.
Danny, you didn't get a single thing right about anything involving this league.
Okay, that's my bad.
This is how we're starting, Danny Mingia. All right, so we got a pretty good episode today. We were going to bring on Paul Bowlers, talk a little bit about Aaron, but unfortunately he had work. But we do have a link on our GEFA page and I believe our website now for the Aaron Nicholas shirts. Great first day so far. I think they said we collected $1,500 so far for Aaron Nicholas's family. So that's a great thing. We just got to keep it moving. We had a couple decent games, and then there was Thor's game, but other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Lord.
I mean, hey, you did it to yourself there, buddy old pal. All right, but we do have guests on today. We have Brandon Ellis from the Wildcats. We have Aaron Zembauer from the Buffaloes, and we have Sheldon Jones, who took time away from warming his hands up to be here. So that's pretty exciting. So I guess we should start with the bad one. Crusaders hosting the Vikings. Vikings win 94-6. Sheldon, talk about your game.
First I want to say that joke's getting old, man. That was a year ago. You know,
and you still whine about it.
My hands are nice and
warm. I've heard, I should have got compensated.
Yeah, I should have been. I had to watch those awful football games.
Well, when I get paid, you'll get paid.
All right,
so talk about your 94-6 win.
Well, first I want to say about the Crusaders, they got a lot of fight, a lot of heart for an expansion team. They didn't quit, man. They went through the whole season, played the whole season, never gave up. So hats off to them for that, going through it. It's not easy. Everybody can't be, the Buffaloes and how they came into the league. But, I mean, we set out to give up the fewest amount of points as a defense for the entire league. It was one of the things we said we wanted to do. So the Crusaders got our best effort because, we had to make sure we locked that down. Couldn't slip up. So they got our best effort for 4 quarters. We were going to make sure we locked that up. Scored a few times on defense. Offensively, we did what we wanted to do, really. And, just shut them down, really.
Did you have any interceptions?
No, I did not. I wasn't supposed to tell you, but I wasn't even at the game.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring on somebody after we bitched about Trey Campbell not knowing what the hell was going on. And you bring somebody that wasn't even at the game.
He was the only one that volunteered to come on.
I volunteered to be here,
He
man.
with film, talked to the guys, said, hey, I want to come on and know what I'm talking about. And so here he is.
I took one for the team, Nobody wanted to do this, so I said I'll do it. But no, I didn't have any interceptions.
Obviously.
Yeah. Finished with 6 though, had a pretty decent year, Not bad for an old guy.
How old are you now?
40 years old. Big 40.
You had a pretty good year. Now, is this going to be your swan song this year?
That depends on Zach Hoy, man. I play if he plays. He wasn't going to play this year, so I was done. But he came back because he changed his loyalty to a certain quarterback we have. So he came back, and I decided to come back, and had a it's been worth it so far, man.
Vinny, any questions?
No.
This is too early in the podcast anyway. You probably won't hear Vinny until at least late second half.
No, I mean, I'll add to that about our game. First off, the Crusaders have an awesome facility. The place that we played that game at, I believe, was like Indiana High School. Turf was new and great. Seating was great. Concessions were open. Just like the whole atmosphere of the game, like going into it, it felt good walking in. The Crusaders are a new team, and I told them, like a lot of the big teams in this league, except the Buffaloes, had a rough time starting out. I mean, I think the Cyclones were like 1-9 their first season. We were 2-8. One of those 3-7. Regardless, it wasn't easy for a lot of these teams. I mean, the Wildcats are one of the top teams in the league now. And yeah, they've been on top before, but they've also had years where they didn't make the playoffs and built themselves back up. And, to the Crusaders, I just said, look, like you got a big group of guys who continually showed up for you guys week in and week out. Just build on that. And I really think that they're at least going to head in the right direction.
Yeah, out of all the teams I thought that were going to go away, I thought it was going to be the Crusaders. And Drew proved me wrong. I can't even lie about that.
They were cracking jokes and cutting it up. Their refs were easygoing. One of them was dancing, music was playing. It was interesting, but it was a good atmosphere. I mean, the game went well. There were no real big problems. So I saw them at the end of our schedule coming in, and even I was like, damn, they're our last game of the year. We typically get an expansion team right at the tail end of the season, and things get tough for them and they don't make it, but they came in and they played every down.
All right. We got anything else to add with the Vikings game? Nope. All right. Sheldon, thanks for being on. Good luck in the playoffs.
You're welcome, man. Row the ship.
See you, Sheldon.
See you, Danny.
All right. Next game, we've got Buffalo's hosting the Warriors. Bedford County wins 64-24.
I guess that's where I jump in.
Sure.
Yep. So I'll have to give it up to the Warriors. Honestly, I was a little concerned after last Saturday to what team we were going to see this week. They did come a little shorthanded, probably about 15, 16 guys there with a couple coaches. But hey, they handled business as much as they could for being lightheanded, and it's a physical football game. And a lot of guys were going both ways, but they stayed physical into the fourth quarter. Hats off to those guys for, we didn't have any off-field issues, anything like that. Afterwards, we, did a prayer. In the middle of the game, though, to kind of get into that, I feel like the defense was able to get back on track after the Vikings loss and kind of started clicking there. Offense did very well, as usual. But hey, they have some ballers over there, and if they have a full squad and Gary comes, obviously to the playoffs, that's a different team, and I'm excited to see what they can do in the playoffs. Week one. So, but hats off to those guys. It was a good game. Obviously, a little more lopsided than what you would expect, but with them traveling light, that's kind of where that comes from. So. Also, shout
Aaron,
out to hold on one
how
second.
big was
Shout out
that
to
bounce back?
Mill Britt. He had 2 big interceptions in that game. He's been playing lights out as a rookie all year long. So shout out to him. Anyway, what was your question, James?
How big was that bounce back to get that win after losing the MOVA?
Yeah, absolutely. We discussed it last week. Last Sunday, tensions were high. When everything's going good, people don't really question your coaching and your abilities and the decisions you make. But when everything's go bad, that's when everything comes into question as an owner, as a coach, everything. So we made some adjustments in our coaching staff. And then we also, we had to figure out what we want to do. How are we going to bounce back? We're going to take this and run with it and say, hey, let's be the best team we can be, or are we going to fold up shop with our only loss of the year? And I'm happy to say that the guys were willing to do what it took to get back on track. Everybody was reaching out saying, hey, let's have a Zoom meeting. Let's break down film. Let's see where we went wrong. Some of our second string guys that got to play against MOVA, they wanted to get better. They didn't like getting their asses kicked. So I think we handled it very well. And sometimes you need to take your lumps through the season to find out what type of team you are. And I think it worked out for the best for us. Someone hop in now. Come on, Vinny. You got some questions.
Go Buffs.
Go Buffs, baby.
And I think that's
let me see that again.
That's a different style than the one you selected.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that
sick.
one.
That is sick, man.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I'll send that order over for that one.
That's right. Thor, what were you going to say? I don't know if I want to hear it.
But I think that's what most of us were expecting. You guys are intelligent, hard-nosed, from the outside looking in. It seems like tight-knit football team, and that's what I expected. Anybody that would have gone into that game thinking you guys had folded shop would have been nuts.
Yeah, whenever you got new guys, though, and they see dominance week in and week out, just some of these newer teams, whenever you play them, and they're pretty easy to beat. I think we needed to see someone that's really tested us, and that's putting it lightly, going up against MOVA at their home. And I think that's what we needed to have happen. It kind of set some of the expectations and showed them, hey, you got to work to get anything in this league. So don't think you're just going to join a team and then win a championship. It doesn't work that way. So after that loss, I like how we bounced back, and we got to keep growing. Everybody's 0-0 now.
Yep.
Now, Aaron, you had 2 one and done in the playoffs, so to speak. What's going to be different about this year?
That's crazy. I thought I knew that would answer that question.
Is Levi going to buckle again, or?
Well, if you look back at it, let's just break down the tape over the past 2 losses in the first round. Year 1, we lose to MOVA, that goes on to beat the Hitmen, who nobody thought that was going to happen, and then won the whole thing. First year, I'm never happy with a loss, but I think that showed us where we were at, what we needed to work on. Year two, the Wildcats had some holes, and whether they want to admit it or not, the Savages folding up and joining their squad, they were a different team in the playoffs, and that was hard to keep up with. But still, no excuses. You gotta win the game. This year, I think it just comes down to experience. We've been here before. I don't think the stage is too big, and I also think everybody's really, really hungry for a playoff win. So, whoever we end up getting in that first round, I mean, that was part of the reason we were really shooting for that first round bye. I mean, let's use that to practice and get our heads on straight and be ready. But whoever we end up with in the semifinals, we're going to be prepared for. And I think it's time. So it's the best I got for you now, but you can watch the live stream.
All right, I'll give that to you.
Said
Good
it's
answer.
time.
What, Vinny?
I said he said it's time.
It's time. I'm hungry for it. I promise you that. I haven't stopped thinking of that loss since last year, or since the day it happened. And that one hurt. So I don't want to feel that ever again. So I think the whole team feels that way, and we're ready to do what it takes to make sure that doesn't happen this year.
Now, I don't remember when the last time we had it where it was buys in the playoffs. Maybe 2012, 2013, maybe. I don't have the history in front of me. Oh, wait. But that's pretty big deal with having a first round bye.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you make it straight to the semifinals. So one win and you get to the championship. That's a huge advantage. And I think teams were gunning for that, but you still have to win that game at that semifinal. And the team that you faced is already battle tested in the playoffs. So you have to understand.
2012 was the last time we had a bye in the playoffs.
That you would have been like, what, 45 then?
Pretty close, yeah. Fucking smart ass. I hope when whoever plays you beats you by 45, and then we're going to revisit this live.
Well, if you're reffing, probably.
Here we go.
All righty. Any other questions, or am I good?
You are good, brother.
I don't
Thank
have
you.
a question, but
Thanks,
I just
man.
want to say,
Give
Aaron,
me one.
congrats on your win against my beloved Warriors. Y'all play hard, and y'all deserve the win. So, yeah,
You're right.
congrats, man.
You're right. We did. Change your team next year, please. Anyway,
I'm not gonna change it to the Buffaloes. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
that's on you, brother.
Wow.
Talk to you guys
Hey,
later.
I'll tell you what. Give me some free merch, and I'll consider it. But you have a good night.
Hey, get out of here, hustling.
Vinny's the free merch guy now. He pays for it. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. See you guys. Good luck.
Later.
Later. Have a good night.
Peace.
All right. Let's move on to Wildcats Raptors. This was a must-win for the Raptors. Wildcats won 52-27. Brandon, talk about it.
Yeah, so obviously the Raptors had to win. You just mentioned it, and we did kind of have a discussion a little bit of if we wanted to go in and really put our starters out there, because our position wasn't going to actually be able to change at all. We were still locked in at the 3 seed. But then, the coaches, the captains, the team in general just discussed it, and we were like, well, this is kind of our first step into the playoffs, so why not make the most of it and go in, because these guys were going to give us their best shot. They had to. So we went in, and, I mean, first quarter was kind of back and forth. Our defense really tightened up after the first quarter. They ended the game with 27, and I think they might have had 20 at half. So they only scored once in the whole second half. Offense, I mean, anyone watching the live stream, no one wanted to tackle JR. He is 6'3", 250. He's a dog whenever he wants to play. And when it's playoff football, I mean, he texted me all week and he said, "Hey, man, I'm a different dog in the playoffs. So give me the ball." And I mean, 2 of the passes were at the line of scrimmage, and he just broke a tackle and went 30 or 40 yards on both of them. It was kind of a big win. Another reason we kind of wanted to do it was, unfortunately, Aaron won't be able to be at the first playoff game. He's got a wedding to go to. And this was kind of a special game for him because it was the Wildcats' 100th win if we did go in there and handle business. So, I mean, we kind of wanted to do that for Aaron because he does do a lot for us. Again, he won't be at the playoff game, but he wanted to make sure that it was a special game because it's the first time that they're hosting it in a real long time. I think he might have said maybe ever that the Wildcats hosted, but I know this season ending 8-2 was the best record the Wildcats have had since 2012. So, I mean, it was a good way to finish the season. Again, it kind of just gets us ready for the next week where we weren't having people resting or anything. We should come right out of the gates against the Warriors and come out ready to play. I mean, first week of the year, sub-zero temperatures out in the wind. Offensively, I'll take a lot of it because we had people open most of the game, but I was off. I mean, coming out of retirement for 4 years in those conditions kind of made me want to go back to retirement right away. But glad I stuck it out this season. The guys really kind of rallied around. Some of the guys, they're used to kind of being the main guys of a team, and they've all kind of accepted different roles so that for the better of the team. But again, we went in there. It was a physical game. A couple confrontations, stupid stuff that happens in most of the games, people talking. But at the end of the day, I mean, offensively, we scored 8 touchdowns. Special teams did their job this week. No touchdowns allowed. And like I said, defense locked it up after the first quarter. Anyone got any questions about the game or the playoff game coming up?
You answered pretty much everything I was about to ask. Even
Right.
talking about the Warriors in that classic. I mean, obviously you were rusty going into that one. When was the last time you played in this league? 18?
Yeah, I mean, I momentarily played with the Comanche that year, but I joke about it all the time with some of the buddies I have on that team that I had more tackles on kickoff than I had pass attempts. So, I mean, it's been a while since I actually threw a football. And it's different. I mean, we didn't have a scrimmage. We had practices. You know how practices are in semi-pro. I mean, I think our lowest number was 16, and that was when we were first outside. We were indoors a good bit of the winter. Again, another thing that Aaron kind of made sure that we had that suitable practice so that we could get some good work. But it's always different whenever it's live game. People can actually really get hit, so it was a struggle. Like I said, the wind, the cold. I think, again, defensively in that first game, Warriors came out and smacked us in the mouth. They moved the ball, they scored, and then halftime happened. Things changed. I mean, we kind of started to get a little momentum going. We started to actually sustain some drives on offense, and doesn't always have to be pretty the first couple weeks of the season, especially whenever we had 5 new starters on offense, 5 new starters on defense. I mean, it takes chemistry. That again, JR even said it in one of the things. Aaron, I don't think gets enough credit for what he does as a coach. You know, he built his staff up. He brought Travis in after the first couple weeks to kind of help solidify the defense. And again, with the turnaround that we had as far as players that they had last year to this year, trying to get all those egos in check and put a good product on the actual field. I mean, he deserves some credit for being a coach of the year candidate, I feel.
Yeah, I would say so. The last time the Wildcats went 8-2 was 2015. Zane Simpson was the head coach. And then the last time they hosted a playoff game was 2012 against the Marauders. I think Jim Gibson was still the head coach. Just to put it in perspective how this season has been historic.
Right.
Vinny, you got any questions before we let Brandon go?
Come on, Benny.
I do not have any questions. No, not this guy. Not this guy. I do not have any questions for Brandon. Not at this time, sir.
All right,
Thor?
Brandon. Thanks for being on, brother.
Hey, Danny, give me a prediction for this weekend.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're playing your Warriors.
God.
If we play as bad as we did, you are going to beat us by at least 20. But hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't. But all I'm gonna say is best of luck and may the best team win.
I appreciate it. I feel the same way.
Although I do really want to beat you because I am a strict hater of the High School Musical series, which had the Wildcats as their team name. So if we beat you this weekend, it'll mean extra special to me personally. But again, best of luck and may the best team win.
Danny, why do you always bring up High School Musical?
It
Like
I don't
Mingy.
know. I don't know. Honestly, no
His-
clue.
his-
But seriously,
His one cousin is Reacher, and his other cousin is Zac Efron. So
no.
that's why.
As much as I want to be related to Zac Efron, Reacher's enough. Reacher is enough. But my great grandfather was actually friends with Billie Holiday, so I guess that's cool.
James, do you want me on here? Are you guys talking about the playoffs games, or
I
is
gotta
that
talk
just
about
gonna be you guys?
Nightmare Mustangs.
Okay.
So we still got to get in that one. So good luck in the playoffs. I'll probably have you
Appreciate
after that game. We'll see you soon, brother.
All righty.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
See you
Well,
after we win, Brandon.
Oh my God.
Can't let that happen, Danny. All right. See you guys.
Later.
Bye.
All right, so let's get into Nightmare Mustangs. And I said it last week. I'll say it again. The Nightmare are the first team in GEFA history to fold and still finish the season. I can't express that enough. That just doesn't happen. We've had so many teams just bow out and their players just say the hell with it. They're not going to even try. I think they ended up showing up with 16 guys at the Mustangs. And in the beginning, it was a lot slower than what I was expecting. I thought for sure with the Nightmare showing up with 16 guys that it was going to be quick work. After the first quarter, it was only 12-0. But then Nightmare started getting tired, and as they got tired, it was just Mustangs defense just took over. Mensa had 2 big picks. I know they had a couple fumbles. And what turned out to be what I thought was going to be a closer game, or not so much a closer game. It's just Mustangs took over, and they got their 6th win of the season, the first time in their history that they have 6 wins in a season. And they will be finishing the season as the 5th seed. So kudos to the Mustangs. Hell of a job. This is the most wins Billy had as a head coach in all the years that he was head coach combined. So that is a big deal for Billy. I'm happy for him. Any questions or anything?
No, I mean, the Mustangs definitely have some great football players. They've been able to pull things together, and it's been cool watching.
Yeah, it's Leif Henderson said the Flash went 6-4 and didn't make the playoffs. I don't remember what that is.
2015.
Was that 2015?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. So let's move on to the playoffs. We've got first round action. Wildcats hosting the Warriors and Comanche hosting the Mustangs.
Is it possible, off the top of your head, that Wildcats Warriors game the first time around was a pretty decent game, if I'm not mistaken? Do you remember what the score was?
Yeah, 32-26 Wildcats.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight game.
I only know that score because that was the score I predicted.
What did you say it was last time?
Vinny?
Say it again. What did you
What's
say
that?
the score was again? What did you say the score was last time?
32-26. I believe the Warriors were up at halftime and jumped up to like a 20-6 lead.
Yeah, not this time. Let's go. Wildcats 52-30.
I'm going Wildcats 48-22.
That's a good point, Josh. Yeah, I think it all depends on what Warriors team shows up.
And the first time they played, I think it was at the Warriors too, wasn't it?
No, it was at the Classic. You announced the game.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
It was literally the first game, one of the first games of the season,
I remember now.
the last of the triple header.
Thanks, Danny.
Last year it was at the Warriors, and the Warriors won 32-26.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. All right, let's get into the other one. Comanche hosting the Mustangs. This game was played earlier in the year at the Mustangs, where the Mustangs thought they had it, and then there was a penalty, and then there was one last play with no time, and Larry Wingo caught the game-winning touchdown. Vinny McNair said he's bringing out the mask.
Who?
McNair.
McNair. First name,
Yeah.
please.
Andy.
Thank you very much. I don't care what he brings out. Listen, he could only bring the mask out if he promises to go live in the mask for 4 hours, 53 minutes, and 24 seconds and tag me 17 times while he does it.
Oh, I mean, that would probably be one of his shortest lives ever.
Why so
It
many
would be.
stipulations? Like, wear the masks 4 hours, tag you a certain number of times. Why can't he just stream it in the mask?
Because Andy is a very particular person, and he likes to make sure everything is done a certain way. So,
Okay.
so we're
makes
gonna go. Yeah. Let's go. Comanche. I'll take the first pick. We're not even gonna entertain this guy. Comanche 48-38.
I'll pick next. I was also 48 with the Comanche, but I'm going 30 for Mustangs.
You're saying the Mustangs are going to win?
No. Comanche will win 38-30.
Yeah, 30 is less than 48.
I didn't hear what he said. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting game. It's just, I think the Mustangs are finally clicking to the point where they got their signature win against the Warriors. Danny, Andy said when his Wildcats beat the Warriors, you got to be a Wildcats fan.
Absolutely not.
Wow. The hate
I'll
is
tell you
real.
that right now. You beat my Warriors, I will never become a Wildcats fan, and that's a promise. However, if we do beat you, maybe I'll consider you my team on the side. But we shall see.
My team on the side.
Mickey Link.
We shall see. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. We got anything else to add?
No.
All right. Danny, take us away. Let's get out of here.
All right. Let's get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning to episode 301 of the Inside the GEFA podcast. We'll be back right here Monday to talk about the playoff games and maybe have a little light bantering between us. But until then, my name is Dan Morales. This has been Inside the GEFA podcast. Stay tuned and we shall see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to spade and neuter your pets.
That was that Bob Barker? Price is
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.